Tracy Morgan carried herself like royalty at just 28, convinced that wealth defined a person's worth from cradle to grave. She moved through life with an air of untouchable superiority, draped in imported fragrances that lingered like expensive secrets, slipping into limited edition heels that clicked with authority, and clutching designer bags that whispered status to anyone who dared look. Her neighbors knew her not for warmth or kindness, but for that razor-sharp pride, a cold, glittering belief that money elevated her far above the ordinary souls around her. It wasn't the quiet pride born from genuine accomplishment, it was the cruel kind that looked down on anyone without a fortune to match hers. But Tracy hadn't always lived in this gilded world. Just 2 years earlier, she was simply another young woman navigating a modest existence. Back then, her heart belonged to a man named David, a quiet, hard-working soul whose love for her burned steady and true, deeper than any ocean. He was humble, gentle, the kind of man who built dreams with his hands and believed in tomorrow. Yet Tracy craved more than dreams. She craved the dazzle of luxury, the rush of extravagance. Simplicity began to embarrass her. David's lack of wealth felt like a chain around her ambitions. One ordinary afternoon, without a hint of warning, she ended it all. Her parting words sliced through him like ice. "I can't be with a broke man. You'll never amount to anything in this life." David stood there in stunned silence, his heart shattering into pieces he couldn't gather. He wanted to plead, to promise he'd change everything for her, but the finality in her eyes told him she had already vanished from his world. Tracy turned away and never glanced back. She surged forward into a new life, chasing the thrill of money, the glow of fame, the intoxicating power of possessions. 2 years blurred by in a whirlwind of transformation. Tracy emerged radiant in a different way, behind the wheel of a sleek luxury car, draped in clothes that screamed success, living a lifestyle she flaunted without shame. Her arrogance swelled with every acquisition, every envious glance. But life has an uncanny habit of weaving threads back together when least expected. One sun-drenched afternoon, Tracy cruised toward an upscale lounge for an important business rendezvous. Her playlist blared triumphantly, the air conditioning chilled the cabin to perfection, and she sang along with carefree joy, until a violent jolt rocked her world. The car shuddered wildly. Tracy let out a piercing scream. She pulled over frantically, leaping out to inspect the damage. Her front tire had blown completely. "This can't be happening," she yelled in fury. "Not today of all days." Her eyes scanned the roadside, landing on a modest mechanic's shop not far away. Scattered tires lay in disorganized piles, tools cluttered the ground, and faint smoke curled from an engine under repair. Tracy's nose wrinkled in disgust. "No way," she muttered under her breath. "That place is filthy." But options were scarce, so she stormed over, irritation radiating from every step. "Hello," she bellowed impatiently. "Is anyone here? I need help right now, hurry up." A figure emerged from behind a weathered blue vehicle. His shirt bore dark oil stains, his hands glistened with grime, and sweat traced lines down his forehead. Tracy's words caught in her throat. She stood frozen, breath stolen. Was David. He paused too, recognition flashing across his face like lightning. In a soft whisper he breathed, "Tracy." For an eternity stretched into seconds, they stared in silence, the air thick with unspoken history. Then Tracy recovered, erupting into a harsh, mocking laugh that echoed cruelly. "Unbelievable," she sneered. "Just look at you." David offered no retort. He simply approached her car with measured, composed steps. "So this is what you've become?" Tracy's voice rose, laced with disdain. "A roadside mechanic? This is your grand life now." David knelt beside the damaged tire, focusing intently, ignoring her venom. Tracy crossed her arms, a smug grin twisting her lips. "I knew it all along," she declared triumphantly. "I told you you'd never succeed. Poverty was always your fate. That's exactly why I walked away. And here you are, proof of everything I said." David worked in steady silence, his quiet dignity only fueling her cruelty. "Fixing tires for strangers," she taunted louder. "Is this the big dream you chased? I can't even picture myself tied to someone like you. Thank God I escaped when I did." Still he said nothing. Tracy leaned in closer, her words a venomous whisper in his ear. "You're still broke. Still scraping by. Still absolutely nothing." Finally David glanced up, his gaze calm and unwavering. "Tracy," he said softly, "people evolve. Life shifts. Nothing remains frozen forever." She scoffed with exaggerated scorn. "Except you. You'll always be stuck right here." David completed the repair and rose, extending the bill with polite professionalism. Tracy laughed again, sharper this time. "Oh, you actually want payment?" she mocked. "Here, take it. You clearly need it far more than I do." She flung the cash at his feet, bills fluttering to the dusty ground like discarded trash. David bent slowly, gathering each note with care, stacking them neatly without a word. Tracy shook her head, savoring her perceived victory. "You're exactly where you belong," she proclaimed with smug satisfaction. Just then her phone rang shrilly. She rolled her eyes but answered with an artificially sweet tone. "Hey babe," she cooed, leaning against her car as excitement bubbled up. "Listen, this upcoming party of mine, it's going to eclipse the last one completely. The president's son confirmed. Ministers, senators, top billionaires, even chart-topping musicians performing live. This event will ripple across the entire world. People won't stop talking about it for months." She laughed gleefully, her voice dripping with boastful pride. "Everything's locked in, the lavish decor, premium drinks, red carpet glamour, tight security. I'm going all out. This party's going to dominate every conversation in the city." Then a memory sparked and her tone turned gleeful malice. "Oh babe, you'll never guess who I ran into today, my pathetic ex, David." She glanced his way with a wicked smirk. "He's a grimy roadside mechanic now. Can you believe it? I warned him 2 years ago he'd never rise above nothing. And look at him, exactly where he deserves to be." Her friend erupted in laughter on the line, and together they ridiculed him mercilessly. David stood nearby, close enough to catch every cutting word. Pain weighed heavy in his chest, yet his expression remained serene. As Tracy hung up and prepared to drive off, David spoke gently. "Tracy, please." She whirled around, annoyance flashing in her eyes. He pressed on softly. "I overheard everything. Could you invite me to your party? At least let me meet some of those influential people?" Tracy exploded into hysterical laughter, as if he'd delivered the ultimate comedy. "Invite you? A filthy mechanic? Do you even own decent shoes? Do you understand how the elite behave? Are you out of your mind?" David bowed his head humbly. "Please, you don't understand. I'm not asking to attend as an equal. I could offer my skills, fix cars for your wealthy guests. If they knew me, I could grow my business, provide better care for my ailing father. Please just help me this once." Tracy clutched her sides, laughing harder. "Look at your pathetic life," she jeered. "I told you to grind harder, but you wouldn't listen. Now you're reduced to begging for scraps from connections." David fell silent, clinging to faint hope she might relent. Tracy shook her head dismissively. "Fine, I'll consider it, not for you but out of some divine mercy. Give me your number. I'll call you this weekend, we can discuss it properly at my place." David's face lit up with gratitude. "Thank you so much, Madam Tracy." She smirked at the title. "I do like that. From now on, address me as Madam." David nodded eagerly. "Yes, Ma." Tracy slid into her car, tossed her hair dramatically, ignited the engine and commanded, "Good. Now move back, you reek of engine oil." She sped away, leaving David standing there, murmuring, "Thank you, Madam," with renewed hope, oblivious to the storm brewing ahead. The weekend arrived swiftly, and David presented himself early at Tracy's opulent mansion. He lingered outside the towering gates, feeling diminutive and anxious as he rang the bell. Security verified his identity and ushered him through. David's eyes widened at the sheer grandeur, immense structures gleaming under sunlight, everything radiating extravagance he'd never imagined touching. Tracy appeared on the upper balcony, clad in a luxurious silk robe, sipping juice as she gazed down imperiously. "Punctual, I see," she drawled, descending the grand staircase with deliberate slowness. "At least you still possess some basic sense." David inclined his head respectfully. "Good afternoon, Madam Tracy." Her smile widened at the deference. "Since you're here, let me be crystal clear before we proceed. I'm not inviting you to my party out of charity. I don't hand out pity. If you want introductions to those elite guests, you'll earn it through service." David frowned in confusion. "Service, Ma? What do you mean?" Tracy crossed her arms, reveling in her dominance. "It's straightforward. You'll serve me completely for the next month until the party. You'll be at my beck and call, cooking meals, scrubbing floors, laundering clothes, polishing cars, shining shoes, organizing closets, running errands, hauling bags, whatever I command. My home must remain spotless, not a speck of dust." David's spirit sank. He sought opportunity, not degradation. Yet her expression brooked no negotiation, cold, unyielding. Memories of his father's illness, the faltering shop, his aspirations flooded him. He had little choice. "Madam Tracy," he replied softly, "I'll do it. Whatever you require, I'll comply. I only ask for this one chance." Tracy's grin turned triumphant. "Smart boy. You recognize your place. Perform well and perhaps, I'll permit your attendance. Cross me once, and your name vanishes forever from any circle of wealth." David affirmed quietly. "Yes, Ma." She gestured toward the rear. "Start now. Head to the back, strip off your shirt and wash all 6 cars thoroughly. When done, enter and mop the entire living area." David nodded and proceeded, prepared for endless labor under the sun. Tracy observed his retreating figure with a sinister smile, delighted that the man who once cherished her deeply now toiled like a servant merely for a shot at her event. The following morning, Tracy awoke buzzing with excitement. It was Saturday, prime time for flaunting her status. Stepping outside, she found David already positioned by the gate, posture straight and subservient, hands clasped politely. "Impressive," she remarked haughtily. "You grasp punctuality. Today we're shopping. Trail me closely, manage every bag and dare not disgrace me." David replied obediently. "Yes, Ma." They entered her vehicle, and she navigated to the city's most exclusive mall, where polished surfaces gleamed under bright lights and luxury permeated the air. Tracy glided from boutique to boutique, heels resounding confidently on marble. She selected garments without glancing at tags, amassing shoes, scents, handbags, whatever caught her fancy. David trailed silently, arms laden with increasingly heavy loads, sweat beading despite his efforts to conceal strain. Tracy glanced back and chuckled cruelly. "David, you resemble a mobile clothes rack. Grip those tightly, if anything drops I'll make a scene right here." He merely affirmed. "Yes, Ma." Abruptly, she halted before a mirrored wall, admiring her reflection. "Perfect timing, let's go live. My fans crave this." She activated her phone stream, primping briefly. "Hey everyone," she exclaimed vibrantly. "It's Big Tracy, your ultimate boss lady." Enthusiasm radiated as she addressed the camera. "Shopping spree today, snagging premium luxuries like true royalty. Y'all know wealth tastes divine, it commands everything." Then she pivoted the lens toward David, burdened and weary yet composed. Tracy cackled gleefully. "Meet my special guest, my ex, David." She zoomed invasively. "That's right, folks. Now he's my personal servant. Life's hilarious, isn't it?" She persisted relentlessly. "Money reigns supreme, nothing it can't acquire. Remember him preaching love over cash? Now watch him lugging my haul. Pathetic little broke boy." David averted his gaze, shielding his pain from viewers. Tracy pressed on. "Followers, grant him a raise? Outfit him in a servant uniform?" Comments flooded with encouragement for her cruelty. Tracy concluded the broadcast, turning to him smugly. "Over 10,000 viewers in minutes, you ought to thank me for the exposure. Some beg millions for that spotlight." David murmured quietly. "Yes, Ma. Thank you, Ma." She dismissed him with an eye roll. "Keep up, we've more stores ahead." And quit shuffling like an exhausted animal. David obeyed, bearing the burdens and burying his anguish deep. He reminded himself this torment was fleeting, a necessary endurance for potential breakthrough. Returning home, David hauled the multitude of bags indoors, limbs trembling from exertion, shirt drenched, soul weighted by mall humiliation. Tracy entered humming triumphantly, barely acknowledging him as she admired her mirror image. "Arrange everything in my wardrobe, swiftly," she commanded casually. David paused briefly, a spark of defiance flickering within amid the wreckage of his dignity. Gathering resolve, he approached and spoke lowly yet respectfully. "Madam Tracy, with all respect, what occurred today wasn't right. You shamed me globally on that stream, stripped my humanity for laughs." Tracy stiffened, whirling with fury blazing. "Pardon me?" she snapped icily. David pressed on, voice steady despite fear. "I agreed to labor for opportunity, not degradation. I'm not wealthy, my struggles are real, but I possess emotions. You reduced me to nothingness today." Tracy's irritation ignited into rage. She advanced menacingly. "Daring to challenge me?" she roared. "Insolent pauper, have you lost your mind? Still craving party access?" David opened his mouth, but her mocking laugh interrupted. "One more syllable and I'll revoke everything. Imagine, a lowly creature like you questioning my aid for your wretched existence." She circled him predatorily. "Without me you're invisible, forever tinkering junk cars roadside. No elite would glance your way. Crave that invitation? Silence yourself and comply. David's chest constricted painfully. Tracy hissed venomously. Me, magnanimous Tracy, aiding a grimy mechanic, and he presumes to critique? Divine restraint alone spares you my gate. David lowered his eyes, nodding achingly. Yes, Ma. Forgive me, Ma. Satisfied, she declared, excellent. Now depart. The next day, David balanced a massive water basin atop his head, trudging cautiously toward Tracy's estate. She dispatched him to a distant public well, claiming desire for authentic village essence in the water. David complied without question. Nearing the gate, a familiar voice shouted, David, is that really you? His old friend Jake gaped in disbelief, rushing over. Bro, what madness is this? Hauling water like a servant? What's become of you? David managed a weary smile. Jake, it's for my employer. She requested well water, for its scent. Jake's eyes bulged. Scent? Who sniffs water? Is she insane? This explains your shop's silence, days absent, reduced to manual drudgery. David sighed. It appears grim, but I'm enduring for advancement. Father's ill, business falters. I seek networks. Tracy promised introductions at her party post 1 month service. Jake shook his head vehemently. 1 month. Witness your transformation. Toting basins because someone whims scent? This isn't employment, it's torment. That woman's deranged. David swallowed bitterly. I need merely one opening, Jake. Access that event, connect meaningfully, lives could transform. Jake regarded him sorrowfully. I viewed that stream, she degraded you before thousands. Comments ridiculed or pitted, it trended painfully. Humiliation resurfaced, stinging anew. Jake persisted. Return to your craft. You excel at mechanics. Why permit her to demean you thus? You appear exhausted, fractured, this price exorbitant. David whispered, I know, but I'm striving, for growth, for father. One door might swing wide. Jake gripped his shoulder compassionately. I comprehend ambition, but caution, she's exploiting your pain, savoring it. She'll overstep eventually. Preserve your worth. David nodded gratefully. Heard Jake. Thanks. But I'll complete this month. Perhaps fruition awaits. Jake exhaled wearily. Won't compel you, but guard your essence. You're worth far more. Jake watched him enter the mansion, murmuring a prayer. Lord, reverse this man's fate and expose that cruel woman's heart. Hours later, Tracy lounged in her lavish living room, idly scrolling when her phone buzzed. Answering, her expression ignited with delight. She leaped up, pacing ecstatically, nodding vigorously. Seriously? She exclaimed joyfully. Incredible. This elevates everything. Laughter bubbled as she concluded. Grateful for the update, game changer. Hanging up, she shrieked triumphantly. Yes. Massive. She immediately summoned David. David, here now. He hurried in. Yes, Ma. Tracy beamed superiorly. Huge update. Guess who's confirmed for my party? David shook his head humbly. No idea, Ma. She cackled exuberantly. The city's most influential tycoon, the CEO of Africa's premier luxury car dealership empire. Pride lifted her chin. This event now reigns supreme. David's pulse quickened briefly at cars, but he masked it. Wonderful news, Ma, he replied deferentially. Tracy jabbed a finger accusingly. Thus, intensify efforts, this escalates profoundly. Crave attendance? Prove unwavering dedication. No slacking, no grievances. Clear? David affirmed instantly. Yes, Ma. Understood. Thank you, Ma. Tracy nodded contentedly. Perfect. Fetch my meal, hunger strikes. David complied swiftly. Tracy settled regally, savoring bites leisurely. Remain there, she directed. Moments later, no, kneel. Today I crave true Empress treatment. David paused briefly, then descended to his knees. Tracy chuckled softly mid-bite. Precisely, boss lady supremacy. Wealth delights. She dined serenely while David knelt silently, knees throbbing, spirit burdened, yet hope flickering faintly. Tracy rambled boastfully of attendees, her impending glory, the city's anticipated awe. David responded mechanically, yes, Ma. As one grueling month dissolved quietly, the fateful party day dawned at last. That morning, Tracy rose early, perfection incarnate. Makeup impeccable, hair sculpted flawlessly, gown embracing her form divinely. She preened before the mirror, beaming at her reflection. David waited discreetly, attired neatly in his meticulously prepared outfit. Shoes polished, shirt pressed, demeanor composed. "Madam Tracy," he ventured softly, "I'm ready. May I accompany you?" Tracy pivoted, appraising him scornfully head to foot, then erupted in derisive laughter. "Accompany me? Observe yourself. Too unkempt, too inferior, too provincial. Would you have guests mistake you for my partner? Heaven forbid." David's faint hope dimmed, but silence held. Tracy pressed coldly. "Your pitiful, indolent, ailing father alone merits this invitation. Otherwise you'd never hear of it. After months' servitude, this remains your best." She scowled. "I provided the venue details, correct? Arrive precisely 1 hour post my departure. No sooner, no shaming me. And delude not yourself, this gathering suits not your kind." She paused sharply. "Refrain from gorging or dancing voraciously like a famished fool. Maintain decorum, recognize your station." With that, she exited regally, heels echoing fadingly as her car departed. David lingered solitary in the vast, hushed mansion. Silence enveloped briefly. Then a subtle, assured smile curved his lips, not weak but resolute, transformed. He inhaled deeply, murmuring, "The moment arrives." Phone in hand, he dialed confidently, words evoking broader grins. "Yes," he whispered. "The moment arrives." Meanwhile, at the venue, Tracy streamed live amid opulent chaos. Melodic backdrop, chatter, flashes, elegantly attired guests mingling. She posed radiantly. "Hey loves, Big Tracy here. Party's thriving already." Camera panned lavish decor, elite crowd, crimson walkway, returning to her triumphant face. Comments surged, she reveled. "Stay glued, hilarious twist incoming tonight." Whispering conspiratorially, "Recall that idiotic ex, the indolent mechanic? He's attending, and I'll expose his shame live for your entertainment." She smirked darkly. "Truthfully, witnessing the impoverished crumble empowers me, their tears, their mortification." Cheers and shocks mingled in responses, but Tracy thrived on spectacle. "Don't stray, his arrival brings communal laughter." Stream paused, she delegated her device, primped, poised supremely, convinced dominion was hers, oblivious the tide prepared reversal beyond imagination. Outside, a luxurious convoy glided to the entrance. Guards straightened, doors parted for distinguished arrivals amid whispers and flashes. One vehicle halted, door swung open. David emerged poised, unhurried, adjusting composure, inhaling steadily. He advanced toward ingress unflinchingly. Within, Tracy anticipated gleefully, envisioning his exposure. Unaware he'd arrived, and her longed-for instant loomed to devastate her profoundly. David entered the grand hall gracefully, strides deliberate, gaze steady, not bewildered but belonging. Clothes tailored subtly elegant. Spotting him afar, Tracy's eyes gleamed maliciously. She reactivated live hastily. "Everyone, look who's here." Maniacal laughter as lens targeted him. "My idiotic ex, David, the destitute roadside mechanic." Crowds pivoted curiously. Tracy neared, ridiculing shamelessly. "David, seriously? That ill-fitting rental suit? Whom do you fool? Suit won't rewrite your doomed fate." More laughter. "Dressed thus to grovel before affluence? Village lad in loans." David remained serene, wordless, neither rage nor retreat. Tracy reveled. "Folks, he slaved for me entire month for this invite, scrubbing vehicles, scouring residents, kneeling during meals." Boisterous cackles. "Poverty devastates, reducing humanity." Guests shifted uneasily, murmurs arose. David silent still. Then anomaly struck. A suited gentleman passed, halting abruptly. Eyes widened. "Sir David," he uttered reverently, extending handshake. "Privilege hosting you." Tracy petrified. Ere speech, another hastened. "Sir David, delighted by your presence." Another, "Welcome, sir." Bow slight. Crowds fully turned, whispers swelled. "Sir?" Tracy's grin faltered nervously. "What's this? Why such deference?" "He's merely my ex, impoverished mechanic." Men puzzled. "Mechanic?" one queried. "Madam, surely jesting?" More encircled David respectfully. "Welcome, sir. Anticipated you." David finally, "Good evening," composed. Tracy's pulse raced, hands trembled. Stream terminated abruptly. Elation evaporated into dread. Another prominent figure approached. "Sir David," polite. "Wondered on your timing." "All arranged per directive." Tracy reeled. "Arranged? Directed." Nervous chuckle, finger jabbing. "Pardon, error here." This individual's no, sir. My former, destitute mechanic. Servant me, vehicle washes, meal kneels. Man frowned mildly. Madam, respectfully, you err. Another affirmed. Mr. David, honored guest. Guest of honor, struck like thunder. Tracy echoed hollowly. Air clarification, hall hushed dramatically. Chatter ceased. Gazes redirected entranceward as guards cleared path. Flashes redirected. Elite straightened. The boasted CO entered, Africa's luxury automotive titan. Respect saturated atmosphere. His scan halted on David. Warm smile emerged. Sir, cordial slight bow. Your arrival. Silence absolute. Tracy immobilized. Joy vanished, terror surging. CO halted before David. Boss, preparations exact per instruction. Awaited you. Collective gasp. Tracy reeled backward. Awaited him? Murmur. Impossible. She lunged forward, frantic laugh. Sir, misunderstanding. This man's my ex, broke mechanic. Servant me, vehicle washes, begged invitation. CO regarded her steadily. Madam, no error. Addressing assembly audibly, clarification required tonight. Hush deepened. I helm as CEO, yet not proprietor. Pause, respectful step aside, gesturing David. This gentleman, my superior. Shock thundered. Gasps, hands covered mouths, stares disbelieving. Tracy's limbs quivered. Falsehood, whisper. Prank. David spoke serenely, authoritative. I never falsified automotive labor, merely withheld identity. CO affirmed. Sir opted anonymity, erected empire discreetly, positioning us forefront. Pivotal choices remain his. Whispers erupted. True owner, all along. David regarded Tracy, eyes devoid wrath, brimming verity. I sought authentic characters, treatment when wealth seems arbiter. Tracy mute. The ridiculed, degraded, forced to kneel man, now revered universally. David softly, hence endurance. Tracy grasped. This marked her arrogance's demise. David exited hall quietly, unreturning gaze. Escaping clamor, flashes, crowds. Convoy awaited. He paused briefly, composed. Tracy pursued frantically, tears streaming. Uncaring spectators, she knelt before him. David, forgive, sobbed. Reclaim me. Evil influenced. I've transformed, renew us. David gazed downward calmly, disappointment, not ire. Tracy, soft. Too tardy. She shook head terrified. No, error mine. David gradual negative. Devil not culpable, your heart authored. Louder sobs. Love endured. David serene. Plea stems wealth revelation, not remorse, not affection. She stilled. Believed your evolution, continued. Workshop encounter revealed permanence. Tracy attempted interjection, gentle halt. Your presence unneeded, I merit superior. David turned, entered vehicle unretrograde. Convoy departed. Tracy knelt weeping, shattered, watching departure. Tracy re-entered hall stiffly, countenance rigid, eyes inflamed, core ablaze shame rage. Reporters swarmed instantly. Madam Tracy, external events? Truly X? Planned mockery? Party orchestrated humiliation? Rage burst. Cease, bellowed. Private affair, depart. Event concluded. Confusion rippled. Music halted. Illumination harshened. Guests departed murmuring. Tracy centered alone, heaving, glorious scheme self-reversed disgracefully. Week hence, Tracy attired elegantly for presumed transformative contract signing, confident entering edifice, clutching papers. Deal promised image restoration, status reclamation. Ushered serene office, seated. Delay, man entered opposite, perused calmly. Accurate, nodded. Tracy relieved grin. Signing timeline? Man regarded plainly. Sole approver, David. Tracy immobilized. David, my ex? Affirmative. His signature sole validation, absent, null. Panic surged. Proxy possible? Firm negative. Beyond authority. Tracy pleaded softly. Vital, please comprehend. He rose gravely. Madam, seek him directly. He alone decrees, and displeasure evident. Papers weighed heavily. Nodding numbly, she exited silently. First instance grasping, the scorned, ridiculed, deemed worthless man, now wielded her destiny's pen. Confrontation inevitable. Exiting toward vehicle, thoughts swirled. Scarce progressed when two youths blocked path, appraising mockingly. Behold fallen Big Tracy, one loud. Viral exposure, X reversed your scheme. Second, detested your arrogance, streaming his degradation, labeling indolent destitute. Tables flipped. Tracy hardened. Clear path. First persisted. Preached independence, hustling, yet climbed via aged patrons. Hypocrite. Fury erupted. Ignorant rustics, from worthless lineage. My fortune dwarfs your sire's. Sentiment irrelevant, move ere public shaming. Onlookers gathered, duo laughed departing. Savor wealth, pride precedes downfall. Tracy slammed car door, seething solitary lengthy. Insults looped, event, degradation David's poise contract. Murmur, must confront David tomorrow, secure deal retain position. Targets loom, failure intolerable.